Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Thread Briefing podcast. Today's episode is going to be slightly different from the others. I'm joined today by our A team of security researchers who attended the 33rd edition of DEF CON this year, and they're going to share their takeaways. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
So, what was the overall vibe at DEF CON this year?
I think any year when you go, you may be a little bit overwhelmed. It's exciting. It's overwhelming in terms of the amounts of information that you get. The number of different activities you can participate in is just, if you're trying to take it all in, it's probably impossible. So when you go, it's best to be a little bit prepared and to know in advance what you're going to do, because you could just go to a single village and spend all of your DEF CON there. And let's say you're interested in automotive security. You could go to automotive village and participate in contests, listen to presentations, talk to people, do some hands-on activities. It's just so massive. There's so much to do that it's just impossible to take it all in. So you really have to pace yourself. But overall, it's just as usual. I've been several times. It's exciting. There is just this avalanche of amazing new information that gets dumped on you. And if you can handle it, you'll have a good time.
I've read quite a few articles about, people getting ready for DEF CON and making sure they don't get hacked. How do you feel about that? Like, do people really hack each other during the DEF CON?
A successful hack is it's a hack that you would never know that you've been hacked. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually, first time I went, I was really preparing carefully. Like I brought a burner phone, and I didn't connect to anything. So over the years, I think I got a little more relaxed. I think the fears are overblown a little bit, but you must be prepared. So if you have a vulnerable device, you have to really install all the patches. You cannot connect to any random Wi-Fi access point that you see. Yeah. So just practice general cyber hygiene. But it's very easy to be paranoid and be scared of everything and everyone around you. You definitely see people at the conference going around with these huge antennas that I'm sure they're trying to capture some traffic from others. There's something called the wall of sheep, where they just capture any unsecured traffic flying around, and if they can get somebody's credentials, they'll display them on a huge monitor on the wall. But I noticed that year over year, I think the list of people that had their credentials captured this way has gotten smaller and smaller. I think people are smarter. They understand that you cannot just connect to any random access point. So be ready, be patched with your devices. Don't connect to random places. Have a VPN. The common sense things that we know we should be doing anyway.
Yeah, I participated in a workshop, and then one of the participants, he was so paranoid that he didn't connect his PC to the Wi-Fi, and he ran all the SSH commands from his mobile phone. It was amusing to see.
Was there a talk or hallway conversation that really stood out to you during the event?
Actually, I found some stickers on the table where people swapping stickers, so it was nice to see.
What about AI?
Yeah, AI. I didn't go to many AI talks. That's not the area I'm currently involved in. Mm-hmm. But you definitely see AI everywhere. You see talks and activities about people exploiting AI, in particular AI chatbots, people using AI to exploit something, so for red team activities, and people using AI for defense, like something that we do in our company. So that's not surprising. Everyone's talking about AI these days, and DEF CON was no different. It was lots of that. For me, usually the presentations that stand out are really on the far end of the spectrum, something that you probably wouldn't see at any other conference. This year, there was a track It seemed like it was specifically dedicated to criminal activities where people would be investigating attack groups directly, APT groups, nation state hacker groups. So that track had some very interesting, revealing presentations, in particular where they would investigate a dark web website that was created to connect people who wanted to assassinate someone. And they claimed that the creators of the site claimed that they would connect you with the actual contract killer and you could pay in cryptocurrency to get it done. I think in the end, it turned out to be a scam. I don't think anyone actually got killed, but there was a lot of very interesting, revealing information about how criminals go about setting up something like this, about how bad they actually are about operational security, where they could actually be found by just making mistakes in how they set things up and how insecure they set up their technology so it could be exploited, and how the good guys could actually exploit that site and figure out who is putting these orders in, who the actual criminals are, and who the potential victims are, so they could warn them. So this is the type of presentation that you wouldn't see at any other security conference, really, if you're a crime fighter, for example. There was another interesting presentation that I saw about the person who used to be a carder, who would steal credit cards and just drain them for money. So that person, the criminal or former criminal, as he claimed to be, just very casually described his activities, what he did, how he did it. Like, I'm sure if there was a law enforcement person present in the hall, they would be furiously taking notes down because there was so much information about their modus operandi and also information about real crimes that went unsolved. So it's very cutting edge, very unusual. It may seem shocking to some people, but if your day job is actually hunting cyber criminals and trying to prevent what they're trying to do, this is very useful information.
And do you have an example of simple things they do, like silly things they do, like get caught because of it?
Default passwords,
Oh,
always.
really?
Yeah,
Really?
default passwords, unpatched software. When people are designing something, they're just not, even though they're kind of in the security realm, in the security business, they're sometimes not imagining bad security scenarios happening to them.
And their need to brag about their activities.
Well, also, yeah, they're not keeping it to themselves. They're very open about it on different discussion boards and then conversations with other people. So yeah, so operational security is not that great. So it's a weird thing that people who are cyber criminals and who are trying to exploit others who know about security very intimately themselves sometimes are very bad at protecting themselves. It's kind of a paradox. If you read Sherlock Holmes, there was this book, I forget the name, where he tried himself to be a criminal and get into someone's house and I think steal a letter or something. And it was the same situation. Even though he was this famous crime fighter that was very good at finding criminals, he himself was terrible at being a criminal and left all kinds of evidence behind. So there must be something psychological there that makes you good at one thing but very bad at another.
And in your field of expertise, have you seen very interesting sessions?
I did, yeah. I'm currently focused on cloud security, Microsoft Azure, Microsoft 365, and we're starting to get into the hybrid scenarios. And I was very encouraged to see presentations about that, where attackers are not only focused on single cloud technology, but they're jumping around between different cloud environments, let's say from Azure to GCP to AWS. And when they're moving from on-prem to cloud and back, it was very encouraging to see presentations describing that in detail and describing various techniques that people are using in those scenarios. So in that sense, it was also very useful.
What about you, Kostya?
I'm not sure that I saw something directly related to my field of operation, but it was really interesting to see that all the living of the land tools and tactics is still getting evolved and getting more and more complex. People taking their time developing more techniques and more ways to take advantage of tools that already existing on systems looking legitimate, and makes much harder to detect those as their purpose is legitimate.
You mentioned in our offline chat a repo called lolc2.
It's basically a collection of GitHub repositories that take advantage of legitimate services. Let's take, for example, VirusTotal. So they use VirusTotal for their C2 communication. They basically send comments. I'm simplifying things, but the bad guy is sending comments to VirusTotal, and the victim queries VirusTotal for those comments and how to move on. And it's a library of GitHub repositories that exploit, or I would say abusing, those legitimate services such as, I don't know, Cobalt Strike or Chess Game, and you can see all those tools there.
So this is obviously used by attackers more than defenders, right?
Sure.
GitHub is not sunsetting those type of things because they should know that it's not for ethical purposes.
Every ethical hacking tool starts like that, even Cobalt Strike, it's for the use of red teams, but the attackers taking advantage of that tool and doing bad stuff. It's basically what makes a tool bad. It's the intention, it's how you use it. It's not what it does. A knife by itself, it's a cutting tool to, cut vegetables or spread chocolate on a bread, but it's the intention.
Great example. Well, do you have any last words on DEF CON, something you wanted to add? Or
I completely agree with Dmitriy. Well, not completely. He said it was a little bit overwhelming. For me, it was very overwhelming. I was choosing the relevant stuff for me. And still, when I arrived to Vegas, I wasn't ready. I was really overwhelmed by the options that I had, and it was crazy.
Did you get the chance to visit the whole thing, the various areas?
No. At my first day, I just walked around and saw the different rooms and places, but I didn't get that chance to actually visit all the different options.
For me, it's a great experience every time I go. So I think if you're in cybersecurity, if you're just interested in security topics, it's a great place to visit at least once. Every year I go, I come back inspired. There's so many new ideas that you see there. So many people doing just amazing stuff. Just the sheer creativity that you observe there is very inspiring. So I think as long as you pace yourself, there's this common rule at DEF CON, 3-2-1 rule, where you need to get 3 hours of sleep at night, at least 2 meals and 1 shower. It's a joke, but it rings true. Some people overdo it. It's very easy to go to all the parties, to not get enough sleep, and really get hurt. So as long as you pace yourself, as long as you keep an open mind, as long as you psychologically prepare yourselves for the crowds and the lines and the noise, just have fun and explore and take information in, I think you'll have a good time.
Thank you, guys. That's a wrap on our special DEF CON episode. Thank you very much, guys, for not only sharing what you've seen, but also for commenting on what you've seen. As always, very interesting insights.